Fit to Love, episode 34, How to Feel Fabulous Forever.
Fit to Love is physical, emotional, and spiritual fitness to achieve the happy life you deserve. From exercise to cooking, relationships, and spirituality, you'll find all the inspiration you need right here with our host, JJ Flizanes.
Hello and welcome to Fit to Love, Thoughtful Thursdays. Today's show, How to Feel Fabulous Forever. And we have back with us my favorite coach, Carol Chanel. Carol Chanel, author of Fabulous Forever, is a certified life coach and also has a BA in sociology and a minor in psychology. She has worked in the self-improvement, consciousness-raising field for more than 30 years. Carol takes a compassionate yet unrelenting approach in guiding her clients to feel fabulous, find their inner joy, and the inspiration to create amazing lives. She brings her joy, training, a wealth of coaching experience, and her highly developed intuitive gift to help her clients realize their dreams. Welcome back, Carol.
Hi, JJ. Thanks for having me back.
Anytime. I love talking to you. I've been talking to you for a long time. So our topic today, how to feel fabulous forever. You have said, and I know I have your book, I've read your book, it's great, that you didn't always feel fabulous and you had to learn to feel that way before you could teach the rest of us how to feel fabulous and to make it last. So tell us, how did you go from feeling badly about yourself to feeling fabulous?
I really worked to heal the wounds that I had from my childhood. I had a really tough childhood. And as a result of that, I definitely didn't feel fabulous. I mean, at one point I was anorexic because I thought I was fat. You know, I weighed all of 94 pounds. That's the skewed mind of the anorexic, right? I'd look in the mirror and I'd kind of cry because I thought I was so ugly, which is ridiculous, right? But it was that inner pain that I was seeing when I looked in the mirror. So really, after that bout of anorexia and kind of coming out of that and healing, I really went on a very big spiritual journey to heal that wound so that I didn't have to feel so badly about myself all the time. And then, really, once I'd done a lot of work, I realized I was kind of caught in that spiritual work mode or therapy work mode, or I was always working on myself. And one day, this brilliant healer said to me, "Carol, you need to have more fun in your life." And I was like, "I do?" He's like, "Yes." And I was like, I was always kind of fun when I was a kid. So I realized I needed to start also having more fun. And when I started having more fun, all that work, I'm putting that in parentheses, that I had done, I was this new free person. And all of a sudden I realized, oh, I actually feel great on the inside.
That's amazing. And what I want to go back to, because I'd love to take and continue on with feeling amazing, but for people out there who maybe didn't hear our first show, Carol's been here before. We did a show called Not Taking Things Personally. Can you give people a background? I know you said that you had a difficult childhood. Can you talk a little bit more about that so that other people who are listening can identify with you, sort of the things that they've gone through, and they know that you've been able to get to the other side and feel amazing and fabulous on the inside? So can you tell a little bit more about that?
Yeah, when I was 5, I got hit by a car and almost died. And of course, the interesting thing is my brother was supposed to be watching me. And of course, you know, he wanted nothing to do with that. And, you know, I was really lucky, actually, that I survived that. And then at 7, my mother died. At 9, my father remarried a woman who really did not like me. In fact, at one point, her mother said to her, "You need to start being nicer to her so she'll take care of you when you're older." Not, you need to be nicer to her because she's a child and you should be nice to her, but so that she would I would take care of her when she was older. And my father was military and very strict, and his concept of punishment was, you know, pull your pants down and spank you, and then when you cried because you were 4 and of course you were crying, he would keep spanking you until you stopped crying. So it was ugly in our household. It was just ugly. There was no love. There was just a lot of hatred. And all I used to hear was I was not blood. My stepmother would never fail to remind me that I was not blood. And my brother was a good bit older than I was. So, he really left. And then my stepmother had a daughter, and all the focus went to her. So it was really bad. I don't really know any other way to say it. It was sad and bad.
There wasn't a lot of love, no modeling of compassion, no modeling of love and nurturing.
No, and nobody to look out for me, nobody who had my back. I remember one time going to a neighbor saying, I need help. I need somebody to help me, and she turned her back on me. And, when you grow up like that, you do not feel good about yourself because you're a child and you think it's something about you. You think you did something wrong. Worse, you think there's just something inherently awful about you that is the reason people are treating you this way.
So what was the turning point? Was it the anorexia that you decided
it was the
to get some help?
anorexia that just really made me realize, because I almost died. And I just was like, I wanted to live. And I thought, you need help. You cannot keep going through life feeling this way. And so as a result, I really started, working on a wonderful journey, working with some amazing people. I mean, all different types from all different modalities. And I've just always said how blessed I've been to have these really genius people come into my life to help me, and I've tried to, share whatever I learned and give them full credit, because I do give them full credit for everything I've learned. They saved my life.
And I'm very thankful that they did, because you have helped mine. So thank you to them. In your book, Fabulous Forever, you have it divided into two sections. The first section is what's in your way of feeling fabulous, and then what works to feel fabulous. So what three things that we do already get in our way of feeling fabulous?
Probably the biggest thing that most women do is we criticize our bodies. Oh my goodness, and again, I go back to my anorexia, right? Where at 90 or 89 pounds, wherever I eventually ended up, I was fat. For heaven's sakes, that was ridiculous. And the thing is that women they criticize their bodies because we compare them to what we see in magazines or TV. But we all know, whether we admit it or not, or understand it or not, those images are all airbrushed, they're all photoshopped, the camera has certain angles that they'll shoot the body from. I mean, there's so many ways, and here we are criticizing this amazing body because it doesn't compare. The perfect example is Cindy Crawford says, I wish I looked like Cindy Crawford when I woke up. And I always loved her for being willing to share that with women, because we compare ourselves to models and actresses all the time. And living here in LA, you see those people and you go, oh, wow. Yeah, well, they're just kind of normal people. They have a few features maybe that the camera really loves, but for the most part, they're just kind of normal people that get enhanced and come to life on screen. So stop criticizing your body. It's magnificent. If there's something you don't like, work on it. Right? I mean, if there's something that you feel it's not as toned as it could be, or you're not as strong as you wish you were, or maybe you feel you want to lose some weight, great, work on that. But don't criticize your body. It's this magnificent vehicle that your soul and spirit get to come through and be here on this earth. The second thing that really gets in the way of women feeling fabulous, is being too nice and performing for love. Oh my goodness. I think it must be in our DNA that women are always being too nice. Part of it sometimes maybe is how we grew up, but performing for love, thinking, well, if I do this, if I do that. JJ, you mentioned that on an earlier call, right? That, let me try this, let me try that. And really what that is that's performing for love. The problem with that is we're not really being ourselves, and we're not saying, well, I might be willing to change this. I'm sure not willing to change that, because that's just who I am. in your case, you're curious. I'm curious, right? If somebody doesn't want to be with a curious person, you can't stop being curious, because if you do, you're not going to feel good about yourself. You won't feel fabulous. Performing for love doesn't work because you don't feel good about yourself when you do it, because you're denying who you really are. And I would say the third big thing that really gets in the way of feeling fabulous is trying to be perfect. I've had clients who, my goodness, even into their 40s, they're still trying to be the perfect person. And while that's performing for love, that's performing in the avenue of perfection, right? So the guy doesn't really get a chance to know the woman and maybe even be able to help, which we know that guys actually like to do sometimes, as long as they feel confident. So trying to be perfect makes you actually kind of stiff and uncomfortable, and you're not flowing in your own skin. You're not free. If you're in Hawaii and you're at the beach and you've just come out of the water and you feel great, and there's nothing about being perfect that enters your mind, and you're so beautiful at that point in time and you feel fabulous. And that's what you want to have with you all the time, that floating freedom feeling.
And that floating freedom feeling also radiates love outwardly. And I know, to point number 2, performing for love and being too nice, part of that is also that insecurity, right?
Completely.
Of needing it from someone else and not knowing that this is who I am and this is who I'm choosing to be and how I'm choosing to be. And I like that about me. And I like it, and if you don't like it, then that's okay. But we won't spend time together because I only want to be around people who appreciate the things I love about myself. And when you're performing for love or being too nice, and I was learning that at 21. So on the last show, Carol and I talked about one of the lessons that I had learned in being in a relationship too long and how I learned not to take things personally. And that is, you're right, I was definitely performing for love. I was trying to be something that he would choose, so he would commit to me. And what I learned along the way was that none of this is about me, and that I got to say, well, these are things I like about myself. And not that he criticized me and told me to do anything differently or anything like that, but even till recently, I would say I did not learn performing for love and being too nice until right before my husband. I think every relationship has challenged me and given me the opportunity to love myself more and to accept myself and to acknowledge who I am and to appreciate who I am.
Yes, and JJ, I honestly think it's in a woman's DNA, this being nice. I do think, that's why we have this amazing, enormous capacity for compassion. And what we want to do is we want to really learn the distinction between being nice and being kind. Being nice is not real. It's doing something to perform, to have somebody think of us a certain way. Being kind comes from a very loving but strong place. And when you're kind, you're also able to be firm. Whereas when you're nice, notice nice and firmness, you just can feel that energy drop. There's no way those two work together.
I had never thought about that. That's very good. So nice, yes, nice is sort of manipulative.
Very manipulative.
Nice is sort of, I'm going to do this so that you like me. Nice people. Yes, we all are going to look at you differently now. All right, so just to recap, the 3 things that get in our way of feeling fabulous is criticizing our bodies, performing for love and being too nice, which is really secretly manipulative, and trying to be perfect. So what are 3 things that we need to do to feel fabulous?
Well, one of the big things we need to do is to draw and hold firm on our boundaries. Because suppose you are around somebody who's manipulative, and oh my goodness, we've all been around manipulative people. When you draw a boundary with those people, say a friend wants you to go out, you're dead tired, you just want to go home and take a nap, and you say, can we do this tomorrow night or next week or whatever, right? And if you don't hold a firm boundary, and by the way, children are great at pushing boundaries. They they'll try that from the time they're just little, running around little munchkins, when I want that, right? But now you're dealing with a friend. If you back down off that boundary, well, all right, maybe I'll just go have one drink. What you've told them is they can push your boundaries. You don't really have solid boundaries. Now, why is this a problem for feeling fabulous? Because you know inside yourself that you didn't honor yourself. You didn't stick to what you really wanted to do, which was just to go home, curl up, read a book, take a hot bath, and go to bed early and start the day all over again. So drawing and holding firm boundaries is one of the biggest things I help women learn to do so that they can really honor what they need to do for themselves and what's true for them. One of the other things that women need to do in order to feel fabulous forever is to feel spicy, saucy, and hot. A couple of years ago, I went to a jazz and blues concert, and a woman got on stage, Jeannie Cheatham. If you ever get a chance to hear any of her music, you'll just love her to pieces. Jeannie was 80 years old, and up there on that stage in this red dress with these high heels, leading this band of musicians. And as I was sitting there, I was just completely blown away. I'm up, I'm dancing. There was a woman sitting at a table with us because we were all at tables, and she looked at me and she said, "Well, I never." And she left. And I was like, oh, my God, she is so threatened by the sensuality of this 80-year-old woman. And I thought, Jeannie at 80 still feels fabulous. She's still able to put on her red dress and get on stage and strut her stuff. And I realized, we don't all have to wear a red dress and go strut our stuff, but we have to do whatever is true for us that makes us feel spicy, saucy, and hot. We're women after all. That is part of being a woman.
Excellent. And that's a great practice.
Yeah. And, maybe it's putting on just a loose flowing dress and bare feet, and maybe that's your spicy, saucy, and hot. Putting on some music and dance around, whatever it is. Give yourself freedom and permission to do that. And the third thing that there are a lot of things in my book that I go through that you'll want to do to feel fabulous forever. I just wanted to pick 3 really big things. The third, and not the most important, but because they're all important, but is really getting into a feeling good place morning and night. Let's face it, life happens, and things are going to happen that are going to, maybe not make you feel so fabulous. A job you wanted didn't come through. A friend was having a bad day. A guy broke up with you. Whatever happens in life that keeps going. If you take a few moments every morning and every night to just think of 3 things that make you feel good. If you go to bed at night and the only thing you can think of is, oh, I love my pillow, then love your pillow and feel good about your pillow. If it's your sheets, if it's, something nice that happened during the day, anything, and if you can't get to 3, that's okay. Focus on 1 or 2. And then in the morning, do the same thing. What you're doing is you're really sort of aligning yourself with the energy of this universe that brings you good things. And feeling fabulous is really, it's about knowing your inner worth and your value and your beauty and your goodness, your sensuality, your passion, your compassion, your love, and your joy. And when you feel good, you feel those things. When you have not so good feeling thoughts, if you watch the news and you got troubled by what you saw, now you're going to go to sleep and you're not going to feel good, which means you're likely to wake up in the morning and not feel good. So say a prayer for those people that are having a hard time, whatever you need to do to get back to feeling good again, so that you radiate that love and joy out into the world and you feel it solidly within yourself.
Because we can't help other people if we're not feeling that way, correct? I mean, really, the best we can do is be an example, and the answer to the solution is always in a better feeling place than the problem itself. And absolutely, too many people just carry that negative energy with them to bed, and then, of course, think of it the first thing in the morning, and then wonder why they're stuck.
And wonder why they don't feel good about themselves. Right, and, they always say on the airplanes, right, to the parents, put the oxygen mask on yourself first and then put it on your child. Because if you're not breathing, you can't help your child. So take care of yourself first so that whatever you want to do out in the world, you've got the energy, the love, the compassion, the vibration, the consciousness to be able to do it.
Excellent advice. Now we have one more question, and it's the pivotal question of if you could give one piece of advice that would make all the difference about how a woman feels about herself, what would it be? But before we get the answer to that question, we need to take a moment to thank our sponsors.
Do you want to look and feel years younger? Learn more about your hormone health and how to get properly tested. Sign up for the Healthy Hormone Kit at nourishingwellness.com. It features the essential tests you need to tell your doctor to order for you to learn more about your current levels. Plus, you'll receive lots of healthy eating and lifestyle tips to improve your hormone health naturally. Again, that's www.nourishingwellness.com. Get the hottest tips and latest trends for your business success with Today's Innovative Woman magazine, a free print and online digital magazine. Plus, receive the special bonus video series, Platforms for Profit, the must-have marketing essentials for outrageous success, taught by media and marketing strategist Kathy Alessandra. Who is today's innovative woman? She's a smart and savvy business owner. She is driven and committed to success. She invests in herself and her business on everything from products to grow her knowledge, services to grow her business, and events to learn and connect with potential clients and customers. You can claim your free subscription today and get it mailed to your home or office at today'sinnovativewoman.com.
Okay, Carol, let's bring it home. If you could give one piece of advice that you feel would make all the difference in how a woman feels about herself, what would it be?
Trusting yourself and trusting in a higher power. If that's God, or if that's the universe, or that's source, or that's angels, whatever it is for you, trust that there's a higher power, because when you do that, it leads you to surrender and a willingness to be guided. Then your life is easier, you're less stressed, you're softer, you feel more feminine, and as a result, you receive more because you're open and you feel fabulous about your life and yourself. Trust yourself. Trust that there's a higher power guiding you. Trust that you are here to feel joyful, to feel love, and to share it, and to feel fabulous.
Excellent. There is this show would be great also in video, because there's a little chart that Shelley Campbell actually taught me years ago. And it's sort of an analytical, definitely ego-based idea of how do I rationalize if I don't believe in a higher power. So if you believe there's a higher power and there isn't, how do you live your life differently? Do you live your life, like you just said, feeling more connected, feeling more free, feeling supported, feeling guided, feeling like having that surrendering energy? So it's like this little chart of like the 4 different scenarios. And at the end of the day, it's the same as if an event's going to happen and you worry about it, versus if an event's going to happen and you just are happy until the event happens. It's like postponing your worry. You don't know what's going to happen. So why not just enjoy it until it happens? And then if it happens and it's not good, then you lived your life in a way that was pleasing.
Right. And you have a choice whether to feel positive or negative about something, right? So really, why not choose positive?
It can't hurt.
It can't hurt. It absolutely can't hurt. And then you get to receive all the goodies that come with feeling positive, like good health, people wanting to be around you, better jobs, more fun in your life, all the wonderful things that we know for a fact come from positive energy. And trusting in a higher power brings you to that place of surrender, and life isn't as hard. Life is easier because you get guided. So I figure, why not? And I know for a fact for myself and for all my clients and friends and people I know, when they trust, when they surrender, their life is so much more joyful. They have so much more love, and they do feel fabulous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Carol, if someone is struggling and wants to work with you, how can they contact you?
I think the best way is through my website, and that is www.carolchanel.com. That's CarolChanel.com. There on the website, there's a contact page. There's also my phone number if you prefer to call or email, whichever works for you. Please send me a little note about yourself. Ask me a question. I'm always happy to get back to you, and we can dialogue and see what would be the best thing for you. I'm always happy to refer you to other people as well if that's what's appropriate.
And if someone wants to get your Fabulous Forever book, where can they get it?
They can get that on my website as well. It's available on Amazon, but there's a link right on the home page of my website, carolchanel.com.
So my husband looked in the first page where you signed it to me and said, she thinks you're fabulous. And because you signed it to a woman who's truly fabulous. And I said to him, yes, I am. And she helped me get that way.
You are fabulous, JJ.
Well, thank you, Carol. Well, you've absolutely contributed in spades to that, so I appreciate you so much and love you so much, and thank you again for being with us on this show, and I look forward to interviewing again in the future and keeping you in my life for a long time. So thank you so much for all the work that you do.
Thank you, JJ. I love you, too. Thanks for having me on the show.
Is your website working for you? If it's not, Every Angle Media can help transform your existing business presence and build you a website that works when you're not working. Visit us online at everyanglemedia.com.
Looking for an engaging and inspiring speaker? Does your group need a good jolt of positive thinking? Look no further than JJ Flizanes. Visit her site to check out her most requested topics and video examples. jjflizanes.com. That's jjflizanes.com.
The Fit to Love podcast show offers you 6 days a week of helpful content to achieve the happy life you deserve. Movement Mondays and Tasty Tuesdays are weekly videocasts, while Wellness Wednesdays, Thoughtful Thursdays, Freedom Fridays, and Sexy Saturdays are audio-only shows themed every week to address your holistic life and needs. If the show inspired you, we would love for you to share it and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today. Head on over to fittolove.tv for recaps of every show, resources, and to join the community. That's FIT2LOVE.TV. Have a fit and fabulous day.